definitely not comfortable is a theme that seems to come up a lot, you know, and trying to like crawl out of your skin. And it's hard to translate that into, you know, like, okay, so I'm gonna take a piece of rubber, wet rubber, and like, oh my God, that's great. Now make a whole song out of that. You know, imagine someone saying something like that to you. You're like, it gives you a heart attack, you know, but somehow you figure it out and he's really great. He's really open-minded, you know. I'll just play around with sounds and things come out, you know. And I'm like, I love that. I know I'm getting close when all of a sudden, you know, I see him sit down right next to me and I just start hearing him going crazy on the keyboard. I'm like, okay, he likes that.
Music is a very complex thing when it comes to creating a work. Sense of Human was created by 3 composers that I picked, Greg Smith, Carl Mullen, and Nick Candle, who's a brilliant violinist. Greg is an incredible drummer, and also he produced the whole thing and engineered everything. Nick Candle is a brilliant violinist that I've known for many, many years, who has his own group called Time for Three. He's a good friend and kind of brought him in to play with the music that we've created. And then Carl Mullen, who's an incredible writer, painter, philosopher, and musician. The 3 of them, I got them together and they came up with an incredible score.
And a lot of it comes from maybe just one word or even a mood or you know, one sound that evokes a certain feeling. He's like, that's what I want. Feel that space, I want to go right there.
Through the skin we let the world in. The heart beats, we let the world in. Take my pulse through the skin. Touch, a telegraph skin. Code of the heartbeat, bird on the wire. A bell ring of life, a magic that spells love. Goosebump flesh under the skin, through the skin. Touch, touch, touch.
It's a lot easier to work with composers. They cater to you. They cater to your vision. You can change it, you can direct it or whatever. But it's also a lot more work. A lot more work, because it's a slow process.
We spent a lot of time working on finding the right sounds, creating our own sounds. We record different people, just at different environments to get background ambience. This one time we actually took a whole bunch of cardboard boxes I had laying around in my room. He piled them all up and then dove on top of them. Brought kitchen pots and pans, threw them all in the center of the floor, and he's banging all over the place with them. I mean, it's great, but that's what we go through just to come up with the sounds. And then we'll layer things together, and it just, epic is the word when you work with Ronnie. The songs always get big. Have done the type of music that we come up with for his performances without having him in the room with me. And a lot of times I even refuse to play the parts that he wants, because he'll like grab an acoustic guitar and he's like, I want to hear this, bang, bang, bang. Whoa. Being a trained musician, that's horror to me. I'm like, oh my God, don't touch my guitar like that. I just put it in his hands and I hit record and don't even tell him. And a lot of the stuff that gets on the tracks is his original ideas and inspiration, and we just kind of blend it in, take out what doesn't work, but he always pretty much has a good idea of what he wants. So some of the stuff is really useful. So he's been a studio musician as well, which is great. You know, I love him for that.
And then I have a poem that Carl Mullen has recorded himself called Through the Skin, which was a conversation that we've had before. And I told him that the piece that I wanted to create was called Through the Skin. And 2 days later, he came up with this poem called Through the Skin and sent it to me.
Through the skin, touch, touch, touch. The skin is the drum of the world. Bang, bang, banging, telegraph code. Clang of the eardrum, clash of the humdrum, soft of the homespun. Touch. Through the skin, we let the world in.
And I just completely was floored. I just couldn't believe how close it was to what I was interested in.
That day the street was crowded, you dropped your keys, I turned, we spoke, we met. Our eyes met. Touch without touching. Your skin let me in at your smile. Your eyes touched mine and you were gone. It's love.
In Kenya, my first 12 years, we didn't have electricity. So it's a fascination, you know, to be able to create. Everything I grew up with was natural. We had, you know, kerosene lamps. That's how we lived, you know. So when I first went to college, it was fascinating that you have all these things and you can do all this stuff, you know. I wasn't gonna be a lighting designer. I was actually gonna be an engineer.
We have kind of an idea of what we want to do, but I totally trust his point of view. He has an edge that, you know, he kind of makes what I see in my head and makes it his own, and it's always shocking to me, the ideas that he comes up with, so I'm very curious as to what is he going to kind of cook for me right now.
That is another reason that, you know, you go to a Koresh show, you will notice the lighting. You also, because we do that very deliberately, it's a huge part of what we are trying to put together. Go see a dance show by a small company that doesn't have the resources, that doesn't have a lighting designer per se, and it'll look very much, it'll be very bland. You know, yes, the dance is there. Yes, the music is there. That'll be beautiful. That's beautiful in itself. But to really immerse yourself into it, you know, the environment needs to be right, the feeling, the mood, what you see is also just as important as what you hear. That's what makes you feel. This is very dynamic. Everything's always moving. There's always changes. So for me, it keeps me excited. What's it like working with Roni? It's never boring. Let's put it that way. I think all of us work with Roni because we believe in what he's doing and really enjoy his work. I can understand his work. It's at a very instinctual level. However, when you are in a theater, when you are dealing with pressures, when you are dealing with, you know, we have 4 hours to make something happen and it's just us, and then things get a little crazy, and he doesn't hold back.
And I remember the first week or two we got together, we were arguing with one another. I mean, we had an argument. We hated each other for the first couple weeks. I was like, "Argh!" Just two strong personalities just butting heads.
It's kind of the nature of the beast, you know? It's like, these people do not get to be where they are by being nice, you know, gentle and wonderful people. It's not, you have to fight for what you're doing.
You have to be committed 100% to work. You have to go all in with him and let go of yourself, your ego completely, because there's no room for it.
You go like this, just
You know, it's his vision, and you really have to be willing to let go a lot. And for a long time, I just didn't know if I had the personal strength or whatever to actually go there, because I give all his dancers credit. They're amazing to you know, he pushes them every day, and it takes a really strong person to do that.
So for them to be a part of it, it's a great honor for me to have them be a part of it, because I find them to be just brilliant. Do they have to do it? No. Do they charge me, you know, money? Carl wouldn't even accept a dime. You know, Greg, you know, I pay him so modestly that it's almost, you know, insignificant. But we all, you know, all we care about is putting our, you know, our thoughts, our ideas, our art out there, and to have people be influenced by it and inspired by it.
Do you have any?
Mine was the green.
Do you have it there? Did you finish yours?
No, I didn't bring the other one.
You didn't bring the one that finished? You didn't finish it.
This will hurt you.
I want to see a complete look. No, you will.
The costumes are quite simple, like the title, Through the Skin. It's very simple, and that's the hardest thing to do, because we always tend to kind of try and make things a little bit more than what they are. And people always say, okay, and they have expectations of these elaborate costumes and elaborate, you know, looks and such. But sometimes they just don't work.
Let's say I cut it. Let me cut it.
Just tell him no.
Like not chiffon, but white. Melissa, what if this was white?
Thanks to practicing in the written.
This is comfy.
I'm thinking this because they don't sit right.
Yes,
If they were here and stayed there.
Absolutely.
Now, please. Does that matter?
What?
Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay, so they just need to stay here.
We were on tour somewhere, and it was like literally the very first section of Standing in Tears, and I did a batma, and the pants were like, I was like, oh great. Now my butt's, yes, now the next 27 minutes my butt will be out.
They should look like blue-collar workers, kind of. I'm actually wearing a shirt that's going to be worn by the guys in the piece, in the opening section. Of course, it's going to be manipulated a little bit, and done up, but that's why I'm wearing it, because I wanted to see what it looks like on video, you know, and what it feels like. I like to feel what my dancers are going to be wearing and doing. I always danced with them, and I always kind of wear the clothes that they wear for a little while, just to see if it's comfortable.
1, 2, 3, 4. Remember the direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Da, ba, ba, ba. Dee, da, da, da. Wait, where are you going? Ba, ba, ba.
The youth ensemble usually opens for our shows at the Suzanne Roberts Theater. Usually 3 shows out of the 5, but this time they get to do all 5, and they're very excited about that. I am too. I'm very proud of them, but they were so excited. Oh, it was just like Christmas.
But I think it's awesome because, I mean, that's like the biggest gig you can possibly get. I mean, we're all high school students. Like, there's even one of us who's an 8th grader. I mean, it's awesome. Like, we're opening up for the Koresh Dance Company. I've been with Youth Ensemble from the beginning. It's been 3 years now, And it's probably the most amazing thing I've ever been able to be a part of in my entire life.
We have a requirement each week, like we have to take a modern class and a ballet class, and then we have repertoire with Melissa, and she really works with us, and she like brings things that the company have done before, and she really works with us to like help us improve our dancing, and like we work as a group.
Melissa is probably the most amazing person and dancer that I've ever, worked with in my entire life. She's just like, she's a beautiful dancer, but she's also a beautiful person, so.
I'm not easy to, I'm not easy to work, I'm easy to work with. It's just I expect a lot. I'm very demanding. I don't treat them like children. And what they're doing is not child's play. It's not easy.
I mean, this is what most of us want to do anyway, so I think it's awesome for us to be learning something like this at such a young age when most people don't learn this until they at least get to college.
Arms are going up. You go 1 and 2. It's hard to stop yourself, but you'll figure it out. 1 and complete 2.
Those girls, immensely. They're the greatest bunch of kids. They really, really are. They just make me so happy.
I worked with Roni, yeah. I take his class most Wednesdays, and then a lot of times he'll come in when we're rehearsing with Melissa, and he'll help her and give pointers, and especially when we're doing his work, he'll definitely like point out things like you should be doing this, and this is what you should be feeling, and how it should look. And
Does he scare you?
yeah, sometimes more than others.
Clarity of why one thing moves the other has to be very, very clear. See this, I just want to see that. You're doing here. And it's just leg, leg. Now you see just the hip and the leg, and you're doing this. And you love to do this thing. I don't know why. Don't do it. Just move his arm.
I am nervous because the duet that Roni created for myself and Jessica, he decided he wants that to open the show. So that's making me a little nervous because it's very specific and it's the first thing that people see. So we always want to make sure that we started off with the right energy and the right impression. Jessica and myself have a tendency to like shotgun right out of the gate and be like, pow! And Roni is always like, no, you can't start off that fast or that 100% level because then where's the show going to go? Like you have to build.
Make sure you always he's coming up this side. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry. Life. 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 We're gonna celebrate life, and then you go, wow. The eye contact that's will make you not so self-indulgent in a way it looks like. It's not that you are. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. It's not that you are. It's just you think that it shouldn't look like I'm performing or whatever, but you don't know what it is. And it's a statement. It's a statement to the world. This is a statement to the world. And this was beautiful. Now there was no wiggle. There was just such clarity to it. This power.
When I watch them, it's not like a dance company. Like, it's just so much more than that. It's not like a combination that they do, and it's not just all like flawless technique. It's more like real life, and you see like real emotion and feeling, and it's so much more than anything I've ever seen.
What they do to me, it's just like they completely melt me inside. You know what I mean? Because I see so much of the emotion when they're dancing, and it's mind-blowing.